Okay, y'all, I've prayed over this broadcast. I want to know if you can hear me. Oh, yes, you're there. This is the first video that I've actually been able to see comments. Hello, everyone. I'm glad you're here. I'm a little bit old for starting this project, so the technology part has been a challenge to me. My last broadcast was sideways, and I couldn't see any comments, so I didn't know if anybody was there or not. So you're right, I do have to be brave. I just got back from the IF gathering. I don't know if you're familiar with that, but we sang a couple of songs about being brave, and this is definitely a step out in faith for me. But I said this before, one of the reasons I started doing it, hi everybody, hi Laurie, is because I heard so many people say I can't draw, and I know I can draw, and so I don't want to do anything to discourage anybody, so I wanted to show people that you can learn. And I've looked back at my Bible pages over the last year, and I've improved some over this year, so I wanted to share some tidbits with you to help you out. Today I'm going to use pan pastels again, and I did that last time, my sideways broadcast, and I didn't even show the pan pastels, I don't think. This is the set that I have. There are 6, 7, 8, 10 in the set, and they're very soft pastels. Laurie Billman asked me if she could use her regular sticks, and if some of you are on the Bible journaling community, she posted a picture that she did using those. So I haven't tried it with those. I know these work, and I got these on Amazon, and they were about, I think, between $30 and $35, somewhere in that range for this set. And they also come with some little sponges and things to draw with, but you can also use makeup sponges. So Cheryl Pierce had requested that I do Fruits of the Spirit, because I showed a few of my Bible pages last time, so I'm going to show you that today. This is the one that I did before. I'm doing a second Bible. Don't tell anybody, but I'm doing these for my nieces. One of my nieces is getting married in July, and so this is for the other niece, and I've been working on this one for this past year. So I just started the Bible for my nieces getting married, and no, Michelle, they don't rub off the page because I spray them. Don't tell this either, because this is definitely not archival, but I spray them with hairspray. You can use a fixative, and that's probably what I should do, is buy something like that. But so far, hairspray has worked for me. This was done early on in the year, and the page is not sticky, and it doesn't smear at all. So I don't know if she's here today, but she can watch it on replay if she's not. So let me get out the Bible that I'm going to do it in. I'm so happy. Am I right side up this time, y'all? Oh, good. Okay. All right. The difference is this Bible, the verse is at the last of the book, and so I only have one page. It's not going to be a 2-page spread. Okay, well, now's the chance to start using them. All right, I've got to figure out my setup here. Let me move these pan pastels over, because the Bible it's on a different page, so they're in the wrong place. All right, I did this real easily. I got out just a piece of paper, and today I used blue so it would show up for you. And I just cut out the shapes that I'm going to use. I've got an orange, a banana, where's my pear? A pear, an apple, and I sketched these on the page to make sure, you know, I knew where I was going to put them, and a bunch of grapes. All right, now when I cut them out, I also saved the piece that I cut out. I didn't punch a hole and cut around because that was too much trouble. I just cut from the side and just put a piece of washi on it to close it up. So I've got a stencil, I've got the positive, and I've got the negative, and they'll both come in handy. So I've got that for each one of the fruits. Okay, and this is not exactly the way I did grapes in the first Bible that I did, but I found out today that this works. So I'm going to place my grapes. And y'all, if I miss any of your comments, I'm pretty right-brained, so when I start doing something, I've got it backwards. No wonder it wouldn't work. It wouldn't fit. If I start doing something, well, I think I drew a different bunch of grapes. I'm just going to go with it like this. If I start doing something and don't see your questions, just let me know, and hopefully I'll catch up. All right, I'm going to use just one of these little sponges, and you see this looks really dirty, so I wipe it off on a paper towel, and it's good enough to use. So I'm going to put a little bit of black with the purple. Oops, I used blue instead of purple. Let me start again. Because I want it to be dark in the background. And you could use washi tape and tape this down. And actually, I forgot one thing. I'm going to put the apple on top, so I don't want the grapes are going to be underneath the apple, so that's why I'm putting this down like this. Okay. Probably would have been better if I taped this. Can y'all hear me okay? Good. Sometimes I turn the volume off on my phone, and I don't know if that... Okay, and because the apples do shade just a little bit darker where this apple overlaps, okay, now I can move that. Now, I need some, that just looks too flat right now. So I made a little stencil with just one single grape. And when I tried this before, I tried using white and just putting it down, but that didn't work. So what I did after that was I put it down and just used my eraser and made it lighter. You'll see in a minute the effect that that gives. Because I'm making the grapes that are on top of the bunch lighter than the ones that are underneath. Now you see, Michelle, it does smear when you haven't got it sealed. Stand out enough, and still doesn't. Sometimes it's just kind of a trial and error thing. I'm going to leave that dark next to where the apple was, but I'm going to lighten the other edge of that grape. Okay, so now I want to put a highlight in my grape, so I'm just going to use an eraser, and over on one side, my eraser is probably so dirty it won't take off a highlight. And my fingers are so dirty too, so I'm going to make a mess in a minute. All right, I want some little, maybe some more darks underneath, so I can just go back and add some darks under here. And you might want to do a little, you definitely don't want to brush it with your hand because then it will definitely smear. Okay, so that's our bunch of grapes. All right, now I'll do the apple next. And where's my apple stencil? If you feel like you can't draw an apple, you could go on Google fruit coloring pages. Okay, once again, my pear's on top, so I need to put this down. I think I will tape it just to make it a little easier. Anyway, you can Google coloring pages and just trace some on there. I found that you could put a piece of paper over your computer screen, and just if the lights are off, it'll be dark enough to shine through, especially if it's a coloring page. And you can just trace it right on your computer and not have to make a copy of it. Or you can put wax paper. Oh, I just messed that one up. You can put wax paper over your computer screen and use a Sharpie and trace it on wax paper, and then use that as your pattern. Okay, I'm going to start with a red. My apple's not going to all be one color because that would be so boring. But I am going to do all around the outside part. And I'm going to put some yellow. And mixed with the red, I'm going to have some orange in my apple. I didn't like my apple on the other page because it was just it looked too flat. So I'm going to try to make this one a little bit rounder. I'm going to put a little green in there. I'm wiping it off after I dip it in the pan pastel because sometimes it's too dark, too strong a color. Okay, I now want to do some shading around the outside. So let's see what happens when you put blue on there. I didn't get enough. Yeah, that makes a pretty good shadow. When I take it off, you'll be able to see it better. Put some shadow at the bottom. Make it a little darker next to the edges. And I think it needs to be a little dark in here where I'm going to put the stem coming out. Now I need a little highlight in my apple too, so I'm going to erase a little bit around here. I should have left it white, but I didn't, so that's the nice thing about these. You can go back and do a little bit of correcting, put a little highlight back here. Okay, there's my apple. And the pear doesn't have anything underneath it, so I don't have to stick anything else down. These little sponge things, when you wipe them a lot, and I just knocked this one totally off, do get holes in them pretty easily, so thank you. So you can buy them in a pack for refills because they do get messed up. All right, I'm going to start with yellow on I'm going to leave a highlight on this bottom part, and so I'll have to erase this time. This is a little bit nerve-wracking doing this to me, so I can't remember everything at once. Eventually, maybe I will, but and a little highlight in there, so with another color. Maybe put a little bit on this side. Thank you, Laurie. You're my encourager. Laurie has asked me a lot of questions online that I've tried to answer for. Okay, now this pear is kind of turned up. I'm going to have the stem part down here, so I'm going to put a shadow across here. See how nicely these pan pastels smooth in. Okay, now I'm going to put a little bit of shadow. I'm using blue again for this. I could use black, but it's a little bit harsh, so I do the same thing when I use the Premier pencils. I try to use something a little other colors to make the shadows rather than black. Okay, I think I'm liking that pretty good. Well, I didn't put my stencil down right, so I'll have to do some erasing. Or I can do this and see if I don't mess it up. I did a little bit, but I'll go back and work on that. Okay, now let's see. Let's do the orange because it's underneath. And I'm going to put the banana down. Thank you. Tutu, what's your name? I'm not promising I'll remember, but I'm just glad you're accepting the challenges and not being, you're being brave. I tell my kids in my Sunday school class, who wants to be brave and pray for us today? And they're 4, 5, and 6-year-olds, so that is being brave for them. I know, it is fast, isn't it? Now, you said on your Periscope that your daughter was Goosekeeper, but is that your name too? Okay, Tutu. Hi, Carolyn. That's my sister's name. All right, I'm mixing red and yellow because there's not really an orange. Oh, she uses your login. Okay. At least you know I'm listening to your Periscopes. All right, I want a highlight to go around here. Oh, Goose Baby. I want a highlight to go around here, so I'm going to try to remember to leave that part white or cream colored. Pan Pastels, and this is just a little sponge. If you didn't see the beginning, I'll go back and watch it on Periscope. I'll probably put it on YouTube as well. My channel on YouTube is just my name, Susan Kaczynski. So that's a little bit too harsh of a line. Okay, I want some yellow in there. And I'm contaminating my pan pastels. You can, wipe it with a paper towel. And these are a little bit pricey. I don't know if you can see how thick the pan pastel is in there, but it does. I think they'll last a real long time. I've done right many pages with it already. Okay, so I'm adding some yellow. And I'm going to do some shading on this so it'll have some shape. So go around the outside. And I'm using blue once again for that. I taped the banana down there, but I didn't tape this orange. And because they overlap, I'm going to put a shadow down here where the banana's going to be coming on top of it. And you can go back once you've done them and add some more shading if you want to. Okay, so there's the orange. And I haven't added stems to anything. And now the banana. Did this get knocked? If y'all could see my setup, you would laugh your head off because it's kind of a joke, but I don't have a tripod, so I had to use a selfie stick, which I didn't own, so I went to Walmart and bought one for $4.88, and it's quite the setup. I hope I can get these pencil marks. I don't usually draw it in pencil, but I wanted you to be able to see it. Hopefully they'll come off. Now I'm going to need just yellow, so I'm going to kind of clean this up a little bit. I'm going to wipe it a little bit. That would be nice. Okay, so it's sort of cleaned up. I think it's good enough. And once again, I knocked the sponge off. Okay. I might leave a little white in the banana to make it look highlighted a little bit. Not so much as I did on the other things. It is easy. That's why I'm doing this, to convince you that you all can do this. And I know some people on here are real artists, so I'm a little bit intimidated by that, but oh well. Okay, now I'm using the kind of darker brown, and I'm going to color in this stem a little bit. And I'll do this darker, but with maybe a colored pencil, but isn't it the truth? We all have different styles. Okay, now I want some of those lines on my banana, so I'm going to pull this back out, and if I can find my, oh, here are my scissors. I'm just going to cut this where, you know how the sections are kind of in a banana. And I'm going to hold this down here, sort of where it's supposed to be. I've got it turned the wrong way, I think. Anyway, that's good enough. And with that same brown, I'm just going to go along there. And you could just draw the line, but when you use a stencil with this, it kind of makes a sharp line on one side, and then the other side. I just cut these out of a piece of paper. They're not anything you buy, the stencils. And I would usually use probably white, but and I'm going to use the same piece and put another little bit up here. Okay, now I just need to clean up some stuff, and I probably won't finish all of this. See, my eraser needs cleaning too, so this is not the best, and I need to erase these pencil lines. I'll do a better job of that after the Periscope is over with, and I'll post the picture, but I would probably use my colored pencils. Let me grab those real quickly. Oops. That's the wrong box. Sorry, y'all. I can't find the box I want. So I will have to drop back and punt. That's too red. Oh, here's mine. I'll just use one of these and kind of give you the idea they're not exactly the right colors, but here's one that might work. Yeah, this is dark umber. So I would go back in and use this, the pencils for the stems. And you could, like on the bottom of the pear, that could use a little more shading. I need some more on the banana. A belly button. Right. Okay, same belly button on the orange. And then, of course, after that, on the Bible page that I did, let me pull that out again. These leaves are done with the Prisma Premier pencils. And I also just did some little curly cues, and wherever it looked like it had an empty space, I went back, and you can see on this one I added another bunch of leaves down here. I mean, a bunch of grapes down here, a different color. I did the purple ones in one place and then the red ones down here. So, does anybody have a question before I sign out? Thank you for joining me today. The banana needs some more work. It's a little flat looking. It needs some shading down at the bottom, and this needs a little more shading. But thank you. You have a great day too, and thanks y'all for joining me. Each time I do it, I hope, except for the last one, that was a total fiasco, but I hope I'll get it together a little bit more. So if there's anything you want to see, if you go on my Instagram page, which is my name, Susan Kaczynski, and see anything that you want to learn how to do or want some advice on, I'll be glad to help you. I don't claim to be an expert. I've never had any formal art training. It's just something that I love to do. I retired from teaching school, but I taught kindergarten. So anyway, I love doing this, and I love sharing with you too. I'm a teacher at heart. Okay, thanks a lot for joining me. See you later.